hope you had a wonderful week. I hope the end of your week is going very well and you're going into the weekend with some positive energy, some positive vibes. Come on in. As you come in, make sure you let me know if you are a returning Aries crew member by saying hashtag Aries crew. Or if you are a first time watcher, just say first time in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for being a returning Aries crew member. I also want to give you a shout out for being a first time watcher. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose. We're going to talk about some hot topics that have been trending this week. So, this is probably going to be a little bit more on the sadder side because we've had some sad situations that have gone on in the last week, some unfortunate passings that we're going to talk about. So, giving you a trigger warning up front if that is something that bothers you to hear about. Make sure, if you have not already done so, that you have subscribed to the page so you can find out every time I go live, upload videos, upload posts, and so much more. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll get a little ding on your phone to let you know when something new has been posted. Please like and share. This helps the page to grow and to get us out there. Thank you so much for joining. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. And if you're a returning Aries crew member, leave hashtag Aries crew. Or if you're a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. So tonight's going to be a short live, but we have a few topics lined up that we're going to talk about. One of them is G Money Little Ronnie. Unfortunately, he and his young daughter, Romani, who's 5 years old, passed away earlier this week. There was a situation that went down at a car wash, and they both lost their lives. Pretty sad story. I want to talk about that. We have Caleb Wilson. He's a young college student at Southern University who unfortunately lost his life. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. There was some updates in that case too since it was initially out. We're going to talk about Dwayne Wiggins. May not be familiar with his name, but if you were around in the late 80s, 90s, you're definitely familiar with this group. Tony was a founding member of that group, and he has unfortunately lost his life. And we got an update in the Gene Hackman story. And we also have an update on Angie Stone. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanos, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Marcelo, welcome. Hola, ¿cómo está? And let's see. Add W Green, welcome. How are you? Eleanor, welcome. How are you guys doing? How is your weekend going? Buenas noches. Muchísimas gracias. Igual. Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first topic here. G Money, Little Ronnie. And I'm looking at my notes, so forgive me here for looking down. So G Money, Little Ronnie, and his daughter Romani. He is a rapper out of Houston, Texas, is my understanding, and he was involved in what appears to be a targeted hit that ultimately took his life and his young daughter's life. She was only 5 years old. So he was at a car wash. The car was parked, and apparently some people came out of their vehicle, and then they used pow pows into G Money Little Ronnie's vehicle, and his young daughter was in the vehicle as well. And unfortunately, she lost her life. Oh, muchas gracias, Marcelo. Thank you so much. And Giancarlo, welcome. Thank you so much for being on here. But sadly, she lost her life in that interaction, and her father was came out of the vehicle, and it's my understanding he had run away from the vehicle, which I believe was probably to draw away whomever was coming at them away from the vehicle because he knew his daughter was in there. And then he was chased around. He was chased around the car wash, and then he was chased around until he just eventually fell down and collapsed and passed away. And this happened in broad daylight. This wasn't at night. This was during the day, and sadly, it was caught on camera. And I guess there were some people that also took some footage that were filming there, which sadly seems to happen whenever these types of situations are occurring. And there was even some footage, it's my understanding, of the young girl passed away in the car. I have not seen that. I don't really have any desire to see that because my heart is already aching at how young she was, and she was just there, just got dropped off, is my understanding, to meet with her dad, and she had just celebrated her birthday the day before that incident, so she didn't even really get to enjoy being 5 years old that long before she lost her life. That to me, I don't understand why, if there was an issue that they had with the father, why it was seemed like it was okay to also involve children, especially young children in that. I just feel like there needs to be some kind of rules and how that stuff is handled, and it should never involve people who aren't a part of those situations. Now, we don't know what caused this, why he was targeted, why this incident went down, at least at this point in time. That is not known, but I still believe that if anything, families, especially children, should be left out if there was an issue that was going on with this person. There have been people speaking on him, and he seemed to have been well liked. G Money Little Ronnie seemed to have a really good reputation, so it awaits to be seen what caused this situation, why that occurred. And I believe there were some suspects that were arrested or that are persons of interest. So I'm going to keep an eye on that case and I'll be bringing you guys some updates. But if you have seen it or if you're familiar with his music or if you know him, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm very curious to hear. I'm not personally familiar with the music, but I think they said on Spotify about 40,000 streams. So his music was known out there and definitely sad. May they both rest in peace, especially the young baby who just did not deserve that. 5 years old is really young. And then now we got to talk about Dwayne Wiggins. He was a founding member of the supergroup Tony, 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 and they have so many hits. But if you were around during the late 80s, 90s, and you like that R&B type of music, you definitely know this group. They were a huge part of that time frame. A lot of classic songs that I think just captured the sound and that energy. Probably their most well-known song is "It Feels Good." I still listen to that to this day. I think it's one of their better songs. But let me know what your favorite Tony, Tony, Tony song is in the comments. And we're going to take a little pause here to shout out some new people that stopped by. Omi, hola, ¿cómo está? Feliz viernes. Then we got Austin. Welcome. And we got Susie in the house. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. We got Robert. Oh, happy birthday, Susie. Happy birthday. Yes. Robert, that song, Whatever You Want, was that on Higher Learning? Let me know if that was on Higher Learning. Classic. Anniversary. I really like their song Anniversary, but Whatever You Want is a really good one too. Like that. So if you're just stopping by, let me know what your favorite Tony, Tony, Tony song is. One of their founding members, Dwayne Wiggins, who was the brother to Raphael Sadiq, who was kind of like the lead of that group, the lead singer in that group. He has passed away at the age of 64 due to bladder cancer, and he passed away earlier this morning. Oh, okay, thank you, Robert. I see that was from the IP, The Revival. Okay, thank you. And he passed away earlier this morning. And this is a statement from the family. Quote, this was posted on Instagram. Quote, with broken hearts, we share with you that our beloved Dwayne passed away this morning, surrounded by family and loved ones. Over the past year, he's been privately and courageously battling bladder cancer. Through his fight, he remains committed and present for his family, his music, his fans, and his community. Dwayne's life was incomparable, and his music and service impacted millions around the world, including his hometown of Oakland, California. He was a guitarist, producer, composer, philanthropist, mentor, and founding member of Tony, Tony, Tony. He was deeply passionate about providing artist development and mentorship to emerging young musicians, helping to shape the early careers of many, end quote. And their impact, I think, will be felt for decades to come. I just really believe that that group is one of those groups that you will still be playing years and years and years from now, and the music will still hold up. That was just a different time, and the music and the energy coming out of that time, I think, was just magic in a bottle, and I haven't really seen it since. I think the early 90s was the last time, maybe the early 2010s, but definitely the 2000s was like the last time I really felt like music was just at its peak, and it's a little bit different now. Let's see. Okay, so Robert dropped a message here saying 2025 has not been good. I agree. We are off to a crazy start. So he's pointing out some people we've lost. We've lost Jerry Butler, Gordon McCrae, Roberta Flack, Chris Jasper, Andy Stone, Roy Ayers, and Dwayne Wiggins. And it's only March. It's only the beginning of March. And we got Vic with the chips on here. And let's see. And then as you come in, if you have not already done so, let me know your favorite Tony song. Modern Music Sucks. That's from JRD 1998. I'm not mad at you for that one. I am not mad at you for that one. Totally agree with you on that. All right. And let's see. Teddy, welcome. 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 So we're going to move on to our next story here. We got to talk about Caleb Wilson. So Caleb Wilson was a student at Southern University, and he was pledging Omega Psi Phi, and he unfortunately lost his life. So the incident, I guess, was initially reported as he was he was outside and then had just collapsed, had just passed out. But later on, it changed to they had been at a warehouse and allegedly he was punched in his chest. And I don't know how many hits or if it was just a really hard hit that caused him to then fall and collapse. And then it's my understanding he had a seizure. And that's when he ended up losing his life. And that to me is pretty sad. He's only 20 years old. And it just shouldn't be something that you lose your life over. I think the D9 and the Greek organizations do great work, and they do have a strong network of brotherhood and sisterhood, and they do a lot of different things in the community. And I don't know what their practices are as far as people being initiated into those organizations. But I'm hoping that there can be some changes made, that people can be a part of this, that doesn't end up resulting in them losing their lives from whatever activities are going on. And I hope that this will be the last that we hear about it. It's unfortunate that this young man lost his life, and that's not something that is going to be able to get back. But maybe from this comes some type of change that somebody else won't have to experience this and another family won't get that call and have to deal with their child's life being lost. But let me know if you're a part of a Greek organization here in the comments and what your thoughts are on it. If you are a part of it, I'd like to get that perspective for sure, because I don't have a whole lot of knowledge about how they work or what they do in there. But I do know that they have been a long-standing part, especially of the Black community, and they've been around in some cases over 100 years, 100 plus years. So they definitely do have a strong legacy of doing some great work. This is just an unfortunate incident that has occurred, and there has been an arrest that's been made. As of right now, it's just one. That could change. It could be more depending on what the whole situation was that caused this young man to lose his life. And the person who has been arrested is Caleb McCrae, I believe is his name. So they both had the name Caleb. Kind of interesting. But we'll keep an eye out on this story to see what updates and different things come out about that. I'm going to take a little break here and look at the comments. So we got Teddy with Rihanna 2.0. What's Rihanna 2.0? Let me know if you're still on here, Teddy. Then we got Robert. Another favorite is Let's Get Down Tonight, featuring DJ Quick. That was with Tony, Tony, Tony. Perfect club song. Just had that nice kind of mid-tempo groove. So you can just kind of hold your drink and still bounce around, but you don't have to do too much. That was a really that was a good one too. Just a different time when pretty much every song was good. But that is a classic for them for sure. All right, now we got to get into an update on the Gene Hackman story. So, Gene Hackman, a legendary, iconic actor, he passed away recently, and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, was also found deceased along with Gene Hackman as well as their dog. And the way they were found in those circumstances kind of led to a lot of questions about what caused their passing. Gene Hackman was 95 years old at the time of his passing, and that's not unusual for somebody who's 95 years old to pass away, but they had already been in a state of decomposition and they were starting to mummify, which means they had been passed away prior to when they were found. So it was trying to figure out maybe who passed first, what caused them to pass, how long have they been passed away. So there is some updates, and this is one of the fastest I've seen, but the autopsy's been completed, and it was determined that his wife, Betsy Arakawa, had passed away from hantavirus, which you can get from rodents. Not sure how she got it, not sure what happened, and it's believed she may have passed away first. And it's been shown on the autopsy that Gene Hackman passed away 'cause he had a heart condition. He had something going on with his heart, and that was exacerbated by his Alzheimer's. So it seems like there was nothing nefarious unless there was something going on with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, getting hantavirus. But so far, those are the known causes of passing. And so nothing else is seeming to be pointing to maybe this was done by somebody else. So it's kind of good to get some closure on that, but still very sad for those families. And I hope that they rest in peace as well. And then we have an update on Angie Stone. So, the neo soul singer and one of the founding pioneers in female hip hop, she passed away recently. Sadly, she was involved in a car accident and she was the only one who passed away out of the vehicle. And there was 8 people in there total, I believe, or maybe it was 9, including her. And she was the only person who passed away. And her family has had to deal with some people that were on GoFundMe trying to create fake GoFundMe for Angie Stone. So they had to get that shut down. Unfortunately, that was caught and addressed by GoFundMe, and they have refunded people back money that sent any money in on that. And I'm thankful that they do monitor and thankful to the family or whomever pointed that out so that people don't get taken advantage of because GoFundMe is a good tool. But if people are using it to just try and get money for themselves under different pretenses, you mess it up for the real fundraisers that are on there to help people when unexpected things like this happen. And there's a large expense that's attached to it. So kudos to them for helping to keep people's money safe because if they wanted to donate to Angie, it should go towards Angie Stone and her family putting together that service. And then the family is planning on doing 2 services, one that's gonna be private in her home of, South Carolina, and then another one that's gonna be for the public so that her fans can also come and kind of mourn and celebrate in her life. And I think that's great. I like when the families of people who've been in the public eye also allow the public to have a chance to grieve along with them because when you see these people on your TV, you're listening to their music, you follow them, you start to learn about their lives and themselves, you kind of feel like you know them, even if you've never met them personally. And when they're gone, that affects you too. And a lot of her songs were attached to very good memories. That whole neo soul run was some of the best music. I loved that early 2000s time frame, and she was a big part of that. She was a face of that for sure. I loved her song "Wish I Didn't Miss You." That was my favorite Angie Stone song. Let me know what your favorite Angie Stone song was in there. And she had an incredible life, being one of the people who was one of the first pioneers for females being in hip hop. And they had signed to her group, The Sequence, had signed to the Sugar Hill Gang Records and came out with some of the first all-female hip hop music, and it was still sampled to this day. "Funk You Up" was one of their most well-known songs, and Bruno Mars has sampled that, and Dr. Dre has sampled that with "Keep Their Heads Ringing." So that just speaks volumes. If the later generation is sampling your music, it's still relevant, or the beats you were using, they can still find a way to make it something right now. That just speaks to good quality sound music, and I think that definitely was her mark in the music industry. She'll never be forgotten. May they all rest in peace. And we're going to come back and do another live this weekend. If you have stories or things you'd like me to talk about, you can leave it here in the comments, or you can leave a comment on the post. I'll put up a post for that. And let's read a couple from Robert on here. Just Me and You was from the Boys in the Hood soundtrack, and I think it was Omar Epps and, like, Tyra Banks. That song, I just always think of them when I hear that song. But it definitely perfect song for that movie. And then we got Raphael Sadiq, Ask of You from the Higher Learning soundtrack. Higher Learning soundtrack was really oh, no, Boys in the Hood, Just Me and You. Who was it with, that's not, I was thinking of Higher Learning with Omar Epps and Tyra Banks, but that's not Boys in the Hood. I thought that was Just Me and You was, Higher Learning, but you're saying that was or Just Me and You was from Boys in the Hood, but I guess it's Higher Learning. You Look Serious. Thank you, Ed. What should I look like? And then we got another from Robert, RIP to Roy Ayers. Absolutely. Talk about him on another live. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening here and have a beautiful start to the weekend. Make sure that you have subscribed to the page, you like and follow. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.